Hey everybody, welcome back to Bridge the Gap podcast. I'm Lauren,
And I'm Scott.
and we want to kick this episode off by saying sorry that we ghosted last week. We ran into some technical difficulties that took annoyingly long to figure out. And as you can see, my quality is a little worse than usual because we had to do some troubleshooting. So, hopefully we're still looking at some stuff to get it like fixed and back to normal. So hopefully it'll be even better next week when we post another episode.
Right. Yeah. Gotta love technology. Worked great for several weeks and then poof, no worko.
Just randomly, by the way, guys, out of nowhere. Like there's nothing that I changed about the setup process, nothing. We met at the same time, same location, everything. And it just decided it didn't want to. So
Yeah. A lot's changed
yeah.
since we last talked.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks. We literally haven't seen each other in a couple weeks because I don't FaceTime unless I have to. And so last time was 2 weeks ago. You had just moved in down there, right? Is that right?
Yeah. It was
That's crazy.
It was like 3 days or something after.
Yeah.
Look, see, I have something on the wall now.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Like, fits. But we talked about that a little bit. I remember that.
That's true.
Yeah, everything's been good. It's been a kind of a crazy 2 weeks for me. I started my new job.
Yeah.
So I'm getting settled in there with the people.
How's that going?
It's good. It's just, once again, it's a little hard to be the new girl. And right now they just have me on to-goes. So like the setup for to-goes, I'm not as like involved in the servers like where they are, like I was at the Columbia location.
Yeah.
So it's like a little more, there's a little more I can never say this word, ostracization.
No.
Right? Ostracizing.
I don't think you're using that word. You're isolated.
Yeah, but ostracizing, doesn't that mean like you're kind of by yourself?
I don't know if ostracizing.
You know
is
what
a
I'm trying to
word.
say though.
Yeah. Well, don't try and use big words.
I always use that word, and I'm usually correct with it.
Let's see if ostracizing is there.
Ostracization, something like that.
Exclude someone from society or group. So I guess to avoid someone intentionally or to prevent someone from taking part in the activities of a group. So you're not being ostracized because that would be intentional. You just haven't been, you're just not in the group because your location is isolated away from where the servers are.
Okay, so I was still somewhat on par. Anyway,
Yeah, you're close.
So slowly but surely, I'm, learning people's names, getting more comfortable, just kind of like throwing myself in.
Yeah.
I don't think any group will ever replace my group down in Columbia, but that's because they really were like almost a support group for me when I had like nobody else for a little bit down there. So,
Well, I would say that being a guy that worked in several restaurants, it always feels that way.
Yeah.
And then it changes. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah.
so, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that your friends down in Columbia aren't cool or weren't important or whatever. I'm just saying that you've only worked, 3 shifts? So
Yeah.
kind of hard to jump to that conclusion so quickly. You know what I mean? So, and plus, restaurants are very, how can we put this? They get, well, you get protective of the people that you work
Yes.
with in a restaurant, and newbies are not always welcome into the fold because there's a lot of turnover. So why invest a bunch of energy into people that are going to be gone? I mean, shoot, your mom came to my restaurant after I'd already been there, and she had a hell of a time trying to infiltrate the group. Like we didn't invite her after work to go drinking or do anything. She kind of had to invite herself.
But wasn't she also like your boss?
No. So she was the restaurant manager. I was the bar manager. So it wasn't like we're going to be like, hey, you want to go hang out? It's like, hey, all right, go have fun with whoever that dude is. And
Yeah.
we're going to go across the street to Penny Lane and For those of you from San Diego or San Marcos area, you may remember that place.
Mom, she's so good at just like forcing herself to be involved. And then she's the kind of person that when she is involved, you're like, why didn't we involve her sooner?
Yeah.
And like, I've had people tell me they feel that way where they're like, oh, I wish we brought you around sooner. Like even my Columbia friends had said it, So it's like, but I'm still half you. Where like I can do that if I absolutely need to. But I can also just be content to be like, all right, well, I'm here to do my work, keep my head down, no big deal. Like make the money and go home.
Yeah, your mom is good at that.
She's the queen at it. And I did get a little bit of it, but only like when I really have to. Right. I did a good job this past weekend though.
Yeah.
Oh, for everyone who doesn't know, Clemson football is on lottery for tickets. And 98% of the time, it's super unfair. But so my roommate and I, we did not get tickets for the game. So we were cool with just hanging out at the apartment for the day, putting on the multi-view on ESPN and watching as many football games as we could until the Clemson game, which then we were going to go across the street to our clubhouse pool where they have a humongous like jumbotron. And we were going to watch it there. Cool. Until she got a text message from this guy that we met in our apartment complex, and he was like, hey, my brother like has a tailgate, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys want to go? I have never turned around and gotten ready that fast in my life. I mean, there were clothes all over my floor because, it's orange. I'm not wearing orange. So I had like white tops and bottoms and jean options everywhere. I was like, I need to find something to wear. So we ended up going to a tailgate, and that's when I just kind of like threw myself into the mix where I was like, okay, like, hey. Yeah. Because you kind of just have to in a situation like that.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And their tailgate spot was so good. I know you saw the pictures on Instagram, but literally like, okay, it was a little annoying because it was not like, there was no preparation. So like if I were leading this, I'd know where we were going, when we were going, how we were getting there. Right. There was none of that.
Well, of course.
We got off the shuttle from our apartment because our apartment has a shuttle to the tailgate spots.
Nice.
Yeah, great. It's also helpful when your stadium is now on campus versus 15 minutes off campus. Right. But so we got off and I was like, okay, where are we going? And they were like, we don't know. I was like, okay. So I think we walked around for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes to find this tailgate.
My gosh.
So by the time we got there, I sat down in a chair and I looked at them. I said, I'm not going anywhere. This is my spot. I'm not moving.
That's funny.
So it was really fun.
Yeah. So I saw the pictures. It looked like you were like almost looking down on the stadium, which is kind of crazy because I thought the stadium was kind of up higher than like the normal streets in Clemson. Like I've always looked up at it when I drive by it.
So yeah, I guess the best that I can describe it is it's kind of like in a valley almost.
Okay.
So like the campus goes up this way and like the other street goes up this way. So there's the main parking lot that's flat and then the stadium's right there. But then all the tailgate spots are up on the hills.
Gotcha.
To the left and the right. So if you're facing the front of the stadium, we were up on that right hill. But still, we were right there. I mean, it was a great view.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy with a tailgate. So most of us didn't get tickets in that were at that tailgate, right?
Right.
So once the few that did went in, we were like, okay, now what? Like, do we just listen to it and like hope for the best? And there was people at the tailgate spot, like diagonally, that had a TV, and it was like a bunch of people our age, like not like grown adults, which would have been fine if it were like grown adults because we would have just forced our way over. But it was like people our age. So my roommate, she literally walked over and she was like, can we watch the game with you guys? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we went and we watched the game on the TV.
That's cool. So how long did you guys stay there?
So we were at the tailgate spot until about halftime.
Okay.
And then we went to Raising Cane's, which I had for the first time. Because they have one on campus. And I'm sorry, I don't know if this is going to get like hate, but Chick-fil-A is 10 times better. cane sauce is not that fantastic.
All right, well, hold on.
And
Hold up. It's your first time. It's the first game of the year.
okay, I'll say the chicken's good. It's a good chicken. The fries are just plain.
Well,
The bread
fries.
is fine. And the cane sauce is mid. I don't know what else to say. Chick-fil-A sauce solos every day compared to cane sauce.
You said a whole lot of words there that I'm trying to follow. So mid means average, right?
Yeah, there's nothing spectacular about them.
Chick-fil-A sauce solos, does that mean it's the best?
It's just, yeah.
Okay.
Like it could take on a fight by itself and win every time. Like it's solos.
This needs to be a clip for sure, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Wait, that's actually what's funny is as I was saying it, I was watching your face and so we went to Raising Cane's and then we were like, okay, we're just gonna take the shuttle back and like beat the crowd. But then the guy that we were with, who we met in the apartment, he lived in a dorm last year on campus where the top level has a view of the field. Like you can see the game. Excuse me. So he was like, why don't we try getting into there? And I was like, how are we going to get into a dorm when none of us have access to it anymore?
Right.
So we stood by the front doors. Like we stood by the front doors until somebody else went in. And then we went in and then we waited by the elevators until someone else scanned their card. And then we just pretended that we lived there.
And you guys went to the roof?
Yep.
Were
was
there
the
a
top
bunch
floor.
of people up there?
Yeah, a lot of people. It was top floor and the windows are like floor to ceiling and you can literally see like directly onto the field. So like for the rest of the third quarter and half of the fourth, I was sitting on the floor of this dorm with a bunch of freshmen, but I was looking out the window and I was watching the game happen. It was great.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was so crazy. I was like, I would never worry about going to a game if I had this view.
Right. That's
I would
crazy.
just sit here the whole time.
That's crazy. Well, it sounds like a good time. Too bad the outcome didn't work out. That sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked. I was bummed. I wanted them to win. I can't stand LSU, and if we get hate posts because of that, I don't care.
Brian Kelly's a terrible person, and I don't care what anybody else says about that.
Well, you know, he did say I'm watching this thing on Netflix. I think it's SEC football. It's like a 6-part series, so they do a bunch with Shane at Carolina, and I know Dabo and Clemson, and
he's not SEC.
He's not SEC, but he's in it because they talk about playing against SEC teams or something. But anyway, he did say something funny where he's like, I must be crazy because I put all of my mortgage, my family's health and wellness and everything into the hands of college kids, which is pretty funny, right? Because he was describing, I'm a college football coach and I put all of my life's existence is provided by being a college football coach. And that role, you're relying on kids to do what they're supposed to do, like, and do it really well. You know what I mean? He's like, I must be crazy, and I'm paraphrasing all that, but it was a very good perspective, and it was the first time that I like saw him more than just who he is. You know what I mean? I can't stand LSU. I'm just not a LSU fan, but you know, and listen, it is what it is. Your grandfather is very good to remind me of this when we talk about certain things, but I was like, yeah, but LSU, they're the program that took the most players out of the portal, which means they're spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's the program now. And I was like, I know it's the program. I don't like the program.
Me neither.
I don't like the program. I hate the portal. And I don't, you know, the whole likeness, getting paid for your likeness has evolved into just getting paid. And that's a whole nother issue that I know I'm not alone on that disagrees with it because they talk about it on College Game Day all the time. But anyway, well, the new rankings came out. Do you want to know where Clemson is?
I do. I saw that the Gamecocks are 10th, though. How about them Gamecocks go? Cox, we won.
Remember, you go to Clemson. You're
I'm
going to have
aware.
to adapt, dude.
I can still root for the Gamecocks, and I'm going to.
I know. That's fine. So did I. It was a great win. I was really frustrated with them at halftime. I was like, what the hell? They came out like unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't do anything. I was like, what is going on right now? But yeah, so Carolina's 10th, South Carolina. We won't talk about North Carolina. They got smacked by TCU last night. Same thing, though. Their first drive, they looked amazing, and then they just shit the bed the rest of the time.
Well, and did you see that Bill Belichick's underage child of a girlfriend? And I know she's actually an adult, but she's basically underage to him. She was on the sidelines at the game.
Oh, I thought she was up in the stands.
No.
I didn't watch the whole game. So
I didn't either.
If it was at the end, then I didn't see it. So anyway, so you got the Gamecocks at 10, Notre Dame's 9,
okay,
Clemson's 8.
Are we serious?
Yeah, Texas is 7. So those are the only one-loss teams that are in the top 10.
Texas dropped to 7th?
Yeah, Alabama dropped to 21st. After
shucks.
getting smacked by Florida State. Holy shit.
Dang.
Florida State went all the way.
Of those to win.
I know. Florida State went all the way to 14th. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they were unranked.
SEC powerhouse. Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah, so the only teams that are in the top 25 that have a loss, there's Alabama at 21. And then you got Notre Dame at 9, Clemson at 8, Texas at 7. That's it. So... but rounding out the top 10, Texas is 7, Oregon is 6, Miami went up to 5, Georgia's 4th, LSU is 3rd, Penn State it stays at 2, and Ohio State leapfrogs Penn State to number 1 because they beat Texas. So, yeah, interesting first weekend of football for sure. And now we come up to this weekend, and it's a dud weekend. Everybody's playing.
Yeah.
Like crappy teams, except Michigan and Oklahoma play this weekend. That'll be a good game. That's the big game. That's 15 versus 18. So yeah, good weekend of football. Now you got pro football starting. What's today? Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday night. So hopefully the day that we launch this for our episode. Hopefully y'all are watching this on Thursday. So it starts tonight. And yeah, good times.
But my whole thing with Brian Kelly, like, I think LSU, obviously, like, you hate them because you ain't them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a good program, and I can acknowledge that. And that's one thing that I do feel like I have a good, like, balance of, at least when I'm watching the game and I'm not standing in the stadium at the game. If they make a good play, I'm going to acknowledge they made a good play. I did that at the game, like, when the Gamecocks were playing. When Virginia Tech had a good play, I'd be like, damn, I mean, you can't even be mad about that. That was a good play.
Right.
So I'll do the same thing with LSU, and I like the players, but I don't respect Brian Kelly at all because he had a player a couple of years ago who kept having, like, headaches and migraines and, like, almost mini seizures, and he kept telling his trainers about it and Brian Kelly, and, like, they were like, no, you're fine, you're good. They didn't look into it. He ended up having, like, a brain tumor and is now, like, paralyzed, can't play, can barely speak, and it's, like, the saddest story in the world. Brian Kelly and the LSU team have yet to reach out to him years later.
Well, hold on.
Never said a thing to this kid.
Brian Kelly's only been there like 2 years.
Okay, then it was like 2 years ago because it's Brian Kelly. I know that for a fact. So it's like, okay, so it's more relevant than I thought.
He was at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah, and this was at LSU.
Okay. And
so that's where I just kind of like, how do you abandon a player like that? Like,
right.
And the poor kid's like, he's like, I feel like once I wasn't useful to him anymore, he didn't care. And I'm like, that's just sad. So that's where I just kind of lose respect because, you know, Beamer would never do that. Dabo would never do that. No. You know, they'd never abandon a player like that, regardless on how big their program is. So it just like, that's where I lose my respect for Brian Kelly. Let me try to find the kid's name.
Yeah, because I don't have enough. I have no idea what it is, but I will say not to play devil's advocate, because if he did truly abandon this kid, then that's terrible. But I do know from playing a pretty high level sport, and knowing coaches and things, that if a player goes to the trainer or the medical staff, then the coach relies on everything that they say, right? So if the medical staff's like, you're fine, then he, as a coach, or the coach, depending on who you're talking about, it could be a soccer coach, it could be a baseball coach, whoever it is, they're going to be like, hey, listen, sorry you're not feeling great, but the medical team said you're feeling great, so your job is to get your ass out there and let's perform. Like, that's what, especially nowadays, that's what we're paying you to do, right? Like, so, it's not his fault as a coach if this kid had a tumor in his brain for not making a decision to say, okay, we'll just sit it out or go get a second opinion or whatever. I don't know. That's the medical team's responsibility, and the coaches just follow whatever the medical team says to do. So if they said, Coach Kelly, he's fine, we've tested him, there's nothing wrong, then he as a coach is like, all right, John, get your ass out there, let's go, time to do some sprints.
Yeah, it just, my main disrespect with him is the lack of
follow-up
support after.
Right, like I get that.
To not reach out to this kid at all. So his name is Greg Brooks Jr. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2023.
Okay.
He was diagnosed with a rare type of brain tumor called medulloblastoma.
Okay.
During his junior season at LSU, the tumor's gone, and now he's under like chemotherapy and radiation therapy to get it like all gone.
Right.
He is currently unable to play football due to the treatment and its effects. In June 2023, Brooks filed a lawsuit against LSU and Our Lady of the Lake Medical Center, alleging that they failed to properly diagnose and treat his brain tumor. So they did a 30 for 30 on him, if you want to look it up on YouTube and watch it, because it provides a lot more
detail.
Yeah, but he says like flat out, like they ignored the signs, they ignored what I was saying, like I was feeling, like all that kind of stuff, and he's like, now I can't do the one thing I love ever again, like so I mean, which he still wouldn't have been able to, because a brain tumor is serious. I mean, it's serious, but there could have been a smoother, there's a lot that could have been different.
100%. And so once again, not to sound like a complete ass, but if there's a lawsuit, like it's still pending, then that's why no one's reached out to him, because they're instructed by their attorneys, don't make any contact with this until it's settled. And they may even, as part of the settlement agreement, say you can never contact each other again. So listen, I get it. I'm not a Brian Kelly fan. I didn't like him at Notre Dame. So I'm fine with not being a fan of his, but sounds like the medical staff screwed up big time at LSU. That's not his responsibility.
And if an actual like hospital screwed up,
right?
So he obviously went to get a second opinion anyway, and they still screwed up. Like, that's a big deal.
Right, and the fact that no one's reached out, there's a little bit more to it if there's an active lawsuit pending, or being, litigated, because he won't be allowed to talk to him directly until it gets out of the courts, So a little bit more context takes away from the animosity towards the individual, but I'm with you. I'm not a fan of his at all. So,
well, I still have a little animosity because there was time between the lawsuit and when it happened that there was still no contact. So that's why. Yeah. There's still a little.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not an LSU fan. I've never been an LSU fan, like, ever. Joe Burrow, I love that guy now that he's a Bengal. I did not like him when he was in LSU. That's just our thing, right? I don't like Alabama. I never have.
You could never get me to say
never.
Like
nothing. There's not anything about him.
No.
Nope.
Nothing.
I mean, other than the fact that they lost, that's the only thing that I like about it.
I wish it was to any other team but the Seminoles, but
yeah. But there's teams out there that I just don't like, and LSU is that one, So,
and you'll never convince me to like them,
right? But the good thing is Clemson has a pretty good schedule. So if they can run the table and win the ACC championship, because they don't play Florida State all year,
Which is lucky for them at this point.
Or Miami. I can't remember who they don't play. Maybe it's Miami. But they have a good chance to go. And then, let's just hope that the Gamecocks can actually put some wins together for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? So Clemson plays Florida State November 8th. So it's Miami they don't play. But Florida State will be tough. Louisville will be tough. Obviously, the Gamecocks will be tough. SMU, they play October 18th. That'll be tough. They go to Boston.
Tough schedule this year.
Yeah, they go to Boston College, which Boston College is like a wild card. You never know how you're going to play there. Syracuse comes to Clemson. So they have a decent schedule. They can run the table. They'll have a really good chance. So that's good. So school's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much to report on there, just criminal justice stuff.
Good.
Casework and mens rea and all that law boring stuff.
Yeah. And work
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I could be a lawyer, Dad.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here reading this criminal justice law stuff in class, and I'm like, this is the most boring thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, but you have to do it in all aspects of that career choice. So you have to know the law.
Like a lawyer?
Dude, cops have to know the law almost better than the attorneys because they're the ones that are doing it at the beginning. So you got to know it somehow, Well,
I'm trying to go to crime scene. So
I know,
really
but you can't just leapfrog into it.
That.
Oh, let me just graduate and jump into something that someone's worked for 15 years. It's not how it works, dude. You're going to have to know. So regardless, you still would be a good attorney because you're a good writer. Yeah. You're a good speaker. You have a logical approach to problem solving, and you win arguments. You're very persuasive. So
I do.
You do. You're very persuasive. So that's where you should go. And your Uncle Bob would be ecstatic to watch you go do that since he's a retired attorney.
I know. I just can't be in school that much longer. I can't do it.
Yeah, you never know.
College is...
It goes fast. You're already in your third year. Think about that. Depends on what you're doing.
It's a ripoff.
Depends on what you're doing.
You know what? Me and my roommates had this conversation where we were like, unless you're going to be like a biochemist or a doctor or a lawyer, there's no need. Like, you could just throw yourself in somewhere, and if you're smart enough, you'll figure it out. Like, that's what we were talking about how, one of my roommates is a packaging science major. So it's like marketing. So it's like, it's like the cool designs you see of stuff. So like a perfume bottle, like the fun perfume bottles, packaging science.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe they call it packaging science, but
I know when I first heard that, I was like, that doesn't make like, I didn't know what it was. And then she was describing it. I was like, that's marketing.
Yeah, it's just marketing. But okay, whatever. See, you guys all have to put labels on everything now.
It's just put it in marketing. The label, the college did.
Well, it's just this generation bullshit.
Whatever.
We gotta just get a marketing degree.
Just a Clemson thing, I guess. So, but she was talking about, she was like, I could just drop out and turn my sketches in somewhere and hope for the best. And I was like, yeah. Same thing with me. I could drop out, go and just straight into the police academy and call it a day. Like, there's very little where you actually, like, especially at this point in life with how much that the job world has changed, like, they used to require degrees if you wanted to do certain things. But now it's just like, if you're creative enough and you have the experience and the drive, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not that simple, but yeah, I think the tides have changed dramatically compared to when I was your age. When I was your age, college was almost non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Target, I worked for Target when we first moved out here, and you couldn't be an assistant manager without having a degree. So, and that wasn't that long ago. That was 2007, right? So not even 20 years ago, if you didn't have a college degree, the highest you could be at a Target store was like a department head. They called them team leaders. back then. I don't know what they call them now. So I think they've changed all that now because the world has changed, right? Experience means more than it used to. But so I'll never regret my degree. I went the really long route to get it. But I don't regret going and the money that I had to spend, because I wouldn't have had the job that I got when I moved out here. So in that case, that's where we're different. It is different nowadays where it's not as valued as it was 20 years ago.
Well, even when I was a freshman, it was never what are you doing after high school? It's where are you going after high school? So
right.
Even just
last 5 years.
6 years?
Yeah, 5-6 years.
Whoa, now I feel gross. But now the past 6
7 or 8 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay, chill.
Yeah. No, it's true. No,
it was a where are you going, not a what are you doing. And then junior year came around and it was a what are you doing after high school? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I doing? What kind of question is because even for me also growing up, it was a where are you going?
Yeah.
You heard people were like, well, I'm taking a gap year. And you're like,
yeah,
a gap year?
Right.
What? When logically, it's a very intelligent and mature route to go if you're really unsure. It's
depends
smart.
on what you do with that year.
Well, if you work and figure out what you want to do with your life, then it's really productive.
If you screw around and sleep until 1 in the afternoon, then no, it's not a productive year.
I slept until 1 today.
Doesn't surprise me. So no, you're right. And listen, your brother's a junior in high school. Obviously, that's for everybody else. But I told him, I was like, listen, it's not. We're not the family that's you better go to college. You got to find why you want to go and if it's worth going, right? I will say on some levels still it does provide a door that 100%. You may not have had if you don't go, right? 100%. So it's not as required and as expected and blah 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 like we've already said, but there are advantages to it, especially from an alumni standpoint and, creating opportunities no matter what field you're going into. But as far as what you said at the beginning, there's definitely some specialization that requires education, right? Not all degrees are value-added degrees, and there are not all worth the amount of money that it costs to go
to
now.
Get them. Yeah.
That's the ridiculousness of it all. I mean, it's just crazy expensive. So
I get it. I'm paying for a higher education, but the amount that I'm having to pay
is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because I'm not even going to make that as a yearly salary at my highest thing.
Yeah, what you'll owe at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't even make that in a year at my highest, because if I go all the way, because I'm going to do crime scene if I didn't specify that to people enough. I'm in criminal justice with a specialization in crime scene. That's what I want to do. So obviously you start city, then you can move to county, state, federal, right? Even if I get to federal, like the FBI, and I'm working on these high profile cases for 1 to 3 years, I still will not be getting paid yearly what the amount necessary for the lump sum of paying for my college degree.
Right.
No. It's so ridiculous. That's the ridiculous part to me. And the fact that now we've discovered this, the community college avenue isn't that much cheaper anyway.
No.
It used to be you're not sure, okay, go here for 2 years, get your associates, and then figure it out if you want to go. Now you at least have a degree. Cheaper, safer option. It's not much cheaper at this point. Everything is just everything.
Ridiculous.
It's insane.
It is insane. That was the biggest shock for me. I remember going to a junior college, and I think it was $13 a unit. So if you took a 3-unit class, it was $39. That was it. And then the book was like $80 or whatever because we didn't have computers because I'm an old mother trucker. So, but that's not the case now. It's several $100s for each class. It's ridiculous at a junior college.
13 per unit?
Yeah.
Well, that's like now if you go to McDonald's and like the cheapest meal you're getting is $20.
Oh, dude, don't even.
And McDonald's is supposed to be the cheaper option.
I used to get 29-cent tacos at Taco Bell at lunchtime in high school.
Well, I remember as a kid, there were times where mom wouldn't even flinch if I wanted a Happy Meal on the way home because she'd be like, it's $5.
It wasn't even $5.
Yeah, it was like so easy because, we were constantly running around with sports and stuff that she'd just be like, here, shut up.
Let's see. Happy Meal costs in 2000, what?
Do 12.
Meal.
Because that's when Ryan and I were starting sports and stuff.
2012.
Or I'd already done sports.
Dun, dun. Yeah. $2.99 for a Happy Meal in 2020 or 2012. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's like college. We went from $2.99 to $7 for a Happy Meal, and we went from $39 a class to like $500 a class. It's ridiculous.
You know what? And maybe
you don't get the same quality. Like, think about the similarity here. McDonald's food today compared to 2012, terrible. College today compared to 2012, terrible.
Terrible, because guess what? I could look it up. I could do it all. Like, I could just look it up.
It's just crazy.
And you know what? Maybe that's why, if you think about it, society has stopped being so, like, college focused, is because they're aware that, like, no one can afford this shit.
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, yeah, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, still
affordability is huge.
How many people do you hear go, I can't afford to go? And you're like, okay, well, what about student loans? They're like, I can't even afford to do that. Like, it's not an option for me.
Yeah.
And part of me wishes it was kind of like that when I was younger, when I was graduating, because I totally would have taken a gap year to figure my stuff out and then decided from there. If I was like, oh, criminology is really interesting to me, I could have decided from there, do I go and get an associate's or do I just go straight into police academy? Like, it's times are different. The way that schools push it are different. Yeah. Because even though I said, like, when my school was like, what are you doing after high school? That almost felt like a mocking thing. Where I was like, why are you asking me that? Like, am I not good enough to go? Like, it wasn't it didn't feel like a legitimate, like, what do you want to do kind of thing.
Well, it's definitely changed because it was almost frowned upon if you didn't say you were going to school. And now it's definitely not that way. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I mean, we'll see. Friends of ours, one of their sons went the trade route and got a scholarship to go weld, and now I think he's how they have like traveling nurses where you travel all over the place. He's like a traveling welder. He gets to live at home as long as he saves a certain percentage of his money, and he's making a killing. We'll see. There's more options available, but I don't. There's a lot of things about college that are cost, indoctrination of a certain viewpoints, who's teaching, what are their credentials, because it's not like it used to be. There's a lot of things. But from an experience standpoint, we kicked off talking about this amazing experience that you had that I've never had, right? Like, I didn't go to a big school with a great team or tradition I went to a school that didn't even have no sports teams at all. There was only 4 buildings. It was like 4 years old. Now it's a huge school. It's Cal State University San Marcos, I think is what it's called. But when I went there, there were literally 3 buildings. There were no dorms. You couldn't live there. There was no sports. It was truly just an elevated junior college.
Which is crazy because I'm pretty sure when Sophie was applying to college, she applied to Cal St. Marcos.
Cal State San Marcos?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where your other set of grandparents live, is right there in San Marcos, Lake San Marcos. So, yeah. So that school So, you go into South Carolina with a huge tradition and huge backing and huge alumni and just tradition and blah, 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 and SEC sports wise. And like it's an amazing experience. I never got that. And now you're at Clemson with all the same stuff, except it's ACC instead of SEC, So,
Yeah.
there are some advantages to it. There's life experiences that you'll get there regardless that you wouldn't get if you didn't go. So, so cool. Like my boss and I were on the phone earlier today, and he's like, "We just need a win." I was like, "Dude, you have no idea how many times I've been saying that
For
the
like
last
the past
several weeks.
5 years.
That's what it feels like. It's really been ridiculous. I had a great work environment until COVID, and then it went downhill from there. And then it's been 2023, beginning of 2023 to now. It's just been a lot of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, now I'm in a division is ventures. It's venture. So it's a lot of rejection because we're exploring new avenues to grow business. And that's what my job is. So it's a lot of work, and then you don't get the payoff at the end. And for someone that spent the majority of his career getting a payoff at the end of every day, practically, because I was an operationally based person, whether it was in the Port of LA or Target or wherever, you knew if you were doing okay pretty quickly. Sometimes by the minute.
Yeah.
And now, you work on a project for 3 months and then it falls flat and you're like, oh. So I had 2 deals that were done. And then the shipper decided that they'll handle the part that we were going to handle. So I lost, boom, just like that.
Which is so confusing in my brain too.
Oh, it's so
I'm like,
frustrating.
You didn't have to handle it though. Like we had it. Right. We had it handled for you.
Right, and they liked the price. So that's
what was the...
Yeah, the freight forwarder emailed us like, so sorry, you guys. It was not the pricing or the service. They just decided to do it like this. So the ship was coming from India. So we've been sitting on this deal for a few weeks. And so I found out on Friday that it wasn't going. So I've just had a lot of that. And then we wake up yesterday and I thought I was going to be productive. I couldn't sleep all weekend. I didn't sleep last night either because your mom snored like crazy. So I'm on like no sleep right now. Literally before we jumped on here, I was like doing my expenses and just like trying to keep my eyes open. But
I got out of bed at like 1:45. That's why I said, let's shoot for a little later.
2:45. So I just started being productive, and I was like, I'm just going to be productive. So our fridge, there's an air filter in the fridge, and then there's a water filter.
Yeah.
And it's been telling me I needed to change them, and I don't always believe in the timing. It's like born on dating. It's like, really? Are we really sure this vinegar is going to go bad? It's never been opened, right? So finally yesterday I was like, all right, I'm going to change these out. I'm going to be productive. And 30 minutes later, our fan broke. Like, it made this god-awful noise. And for those people that don't know me, I'm a little particular about some things. That's a nice way of putting it. It's like you talking about your tips. Okay. I'm a little OCD. I need shit a certain way.
And not a little, by the way, guys.
It's a little. I'm not like maniacal. It's not like I have to touch a doorknob 3 times or anything. I can't handle noise. Like having little kids exhausted all of my patience with making noise. So when people would sit with me in meetings and they were clicking their pen, I'd be like, stop clicking your pen. That stuff drives me crazy.
And I'm a pen clicker.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the fridge was doing. We've owned the fridge for 7 years. It's an LG fridge. They make the best fridges even today because I did my research really quickly yesterday. Even though they lost a lawsuit in 2020 about compressors and stuff, which our old fridge was part of, so we had to get a new compressor installed and stuff. We had it for 7 years. Those of us, so I'm speaking to my age group, they just don't make shit like they used to. They just don't. So you spend all this money for a fridge and it lasts 7 years. And literally the guy that delivered our new fridge today was like, oh, you got pretty good use out of this. I was like, it was 7 years. That's it. I guarantee you the fridge that I had in my house on Barrymore Street when I was growing up, if my parents never moved, it would probably still be in there and working just fine. Like it's just unbelievable. So anyway, long story longer, the cost to fix what was broken would have been more headache and more cost than it would be to just go get another fridge. So your mom and I get in a car yesterday at 1 o'clock. Your grandparents are coming over for dinner at 5. And we bought a new fridge. So it got delivered today. So when I was like, so I lost those deals on Friday. And then by Monday, I'm spending a couple grand. We did get a good deal on it, though. It's a nice fridge. I'm not going to lie. It's a nice fridge. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking the nuts just over and over. That's what it feels like. It's like it's just been a pain in the ass. So anyway, the next time you're ever back up here, which hopefully you'll come up for a day or two, you'll see our new fridge. But it got delivered this morning. That got all screwed up because, in case anybody doesn't know, Lowe's, if you have an account with Lowe's, it's like an act of Congress to change your phone number in Lowe's. Like I've tried to do it in the store, and I've had 3 different people tell me, no, we can't do it. Good luck. Literally, these are Lowe's associates. So if Lowe's is listening, you guys need to make this a little bit easier. So it has my old work number from 2 jobs ago, from my years at the shittiest car dealership retailer in the world, CarMax. They can go for themselves. I don't care. I hate them. That's why their stock sucks right now, because they have terrible leadership.
No, go ahead, beat the dead horse.
I'm gonna beat it, and I wasn't gonna, but I'm gonna now. So anyway, my phone number was their old number. So I told the guys, like, don't call me on that number when you're going to deliver. Call this number. And I saw them put it in the notes and the whole thing. And they called my old number twice. So I was literally in the restroom and the doorbell rang. I hadn't moved anything yet, nothing. Because, the delivery time is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Right.
They showed up at 9:45.
12-hour window. Yeah.
So anyway, so I scrambled around and did all that. But yeah. So anyway, they called the wrong number. So I scrambled this morning, and now we're waiting for it to work. And then I had to throw everything back in there without any organization, because I didn't want it to go bad. So
I'm still laughing at this. So anyway, it was the wrong number.
Anyway, well, cool.
We've talked for a while.
Well, we caught up. We hadn't talked in a long time. So,
and you know what? If this episode's a little longer, it's fine, because we didn't have an episode last week.
Yeah, so we had a lot to catch up on.
We did have a lot to catch up, and we still haven't caught up on everything. After we finish recording, I'll keep talking because I have more to tell you. Well,
your mom needs to talk to you too. She said to tell me to tell you that she's going to call you, which is in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, true.
So, but yeah, I mean, this episode is going to be a little longer. And listen, for anybody that's watching or listening, if you've made it this long, Lauren and I talk when we're not just for this. We text back and forth, and we talked a couple times on the phone, but this is the first time that we've caught up in a while. Yeah. So if it's a little longer, then it's a little longer. Everybody that I talk to keeps telling me it's entertaining. So ran into another person at Blue Barbecue down the road, and he was like, I love it. I've got 2 daughters. I watch it. I try and make them watch it, but they won't listen because dad's making them do it. Ha, ha, ha. So, yeah. Apparently we're entertaining. Right, Exactly. So next week we need to talk about this dating thing, though, because I don't get it. I don't understand how y'all date nowadays.
We don't.
I say something like, are you talking to somebody? And they're like, oh, no, hey, oh, talking. So I don't even know why that means anything, but we'll talk about that next week, and I'll share some pretty sad stories on my front of the links that I went to try and get girls like me when I was young, and there was a whole lot of thanks, Scott, patting me on the head, So we'll talk about the differences.
It'll be interesting. It's funny because the only little teaser I give is when you're like, I don't know how you guys date nowadays. We don't.
Well, there you go.
That's why.
End of episode.
That's why all of us are still single. We don't.
Boom.
It's impossible at
Done.
this point. Good night. Well, anyway, thanks you guys for tuning in. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties from last week. Hopefully we've got them figured out, and if this is how I look for a little while we get it figured out on my iPad, then that's just how I'm going to look for a little while.
Yeah, you'll have to change the contrast a little bit.
I'll try. But yeah, so that's all that we have for now. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. If your teams are playing in the NFL on Thursday, good luck.
Good luck. Remember,
fly,
Bridge
Eagles,
the Gap.
Fly.
Remember, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube and TikTok.
Yes.
Those are the 5? Okay.
Yep.
Bridge the Gap pod in some variation.
Yes, and I'll have them listed in the caption of each reel that we post and each video that we post on YouTube and on Spotify. So you'll be able to find us no matter what.
Perfect.
No excuses.
No excuses. All right. Sounds good. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye. We'll see you guys later.